Oh, a bit wonky. Hello everybody. Sometime back, a while back, not that far back, I did a video and it was called the usefulness psyop. And I want to expound on that video today because it's what's really been coming up for me in a massive way. So I talk a lot about fear and about rage and about grief and all these emotions, and I talk a lot about the passive aggressive element, you know, the self-attack and the whole cauldron of energetic emotional torment and distress that we experience on a daily fucking basis in this concentration camp. But I feel like I want to talk about what is the cause, what is the spike that pins the spell. I think back in a long time ago, the Greeks had a type of witchcraft, I think, where a spike or a lead or metal pin was used to fasten the spell and to cement it in place, as it were. And of late, I keep coming across the word spike everywhere. It's on the buses. It's about your drink being spiked and everybody gets spiked. And I'm like, yeah, ain't that the fucking truth? Because I know what it means. So what is the spike in this devilish demonic experience, in this state that we find ourselves in, internal, ergo external, right? What has fixed the spell? Now I talk about the toxic shame construct. I haven't talked about it quite as much of late, I think. And toxic shame is not the correct way of addressing it either, because it's not as if there is a good type of shame. There isn't. All shame is toxic. And a lot of people don't understand the word shame. For the longest time I didn't understand it. So the way I put it is this: it's the notion, the program, that you're so worthless, you don't deserve to exist at all, that you are sinful, that you have, that you're intrinsically bad and rotten. There's nothing good about you, there's nothing good in you at all. You're just bad, completely, all the way, rotten to the core. That is what it is. Sin. You're born in sin. Sin. Religion really reinforces that, of course, but even the pagans, they had to make sacrifices. We have to sacrifice animals. We have to sacrifice people to the gods because they're angry with us, and the crops were bad, and we starved, and we died of disease. Because the gods are angry. Why are the gods angry? No idea. We better do all these things that we don't want to do to appease the gods. The Greek pantheon of gods is exactly the same. They're always fucking with you. The Amun priesthood in Egypt. Give us all your wealth and give us all your cattle and sacrifice this and give us that and do this and do that. In other words, we've been held to ransom in the most horrific way for as fucking long as whatever the fuck this has been going on. And behind it all, that which fastens the spell, it's guilt. It's guilt, and it drives us relentlessly. Even this morning, and I was watching one of Mr. MBB 333's videos, right? And there was this little ad came up, and it was about some sort of vitamin drop in a little bottle that will cost about like 100 quid. And it's like, oh, it made me feel so good. I became so productive. I did a whole day's work in a mere 2 hours. Or, oh, are you in pain? Are you in chronic pain? Well, take these painkillers and take those painkillers, and then you can keep going to work. Those are but a few examples. In the usefulness psyop, I talk about how the system uses this guilt in every imaginable way. You're ashamed that you're sinful and dirty and bad intrinsically, and you're guilty always, no matter what. And on the subconscious level. And if you really pay attention to the people around you, the people that, you know, or in fact, all the films you watch, movies, all the television series, the books you read, the art you see in the galleries, the common vernacular, pay attention, you will see it as clear as day, right? It's the elephant in the living room, and it's the spike that fastens the spell, the guilt. You're forever guilty. Nothing you can ever do will redeem you, but it has to dangle that carrot a little bit here and there. Yeah. We might mitigate circumstances a little bit. We will, you know, it's a nasty, evil, demonic lie. Because you stop thinking, well, okay, if I am this dirty and rotten to the core, sinful and bad intrinsically, and so worthless and disgusting that I don't even deserve to exist, well, why do I exist then? And exactly what is it I've done? Because you know, and then you stop and you think, am I really, is this what I am? And you know it isn't true. You know it isn't true at all. You are sensitive. You are kind and tender-hearted. You care so very, very much about animals, about nature. You know, there you are rescuing slugs off the path as you go for your morning walk, rescuing pussycats. You're a fountain of compassion, of courage, integrity, wisdom. Yes, you feel a hell of a lot of insane rage. You can be very passive-aggressive. You swear. You may explode when people take the piss and give them a lashing of your tongue. Rightly so. It's all done with love, but you know. Every time you get something even slightly wrong, there's this program in your head saying, oh, you shouldn't have and you mustn't, and you must be nice to everybody, and you're not allowed to assert yourself, and when you do assert yourself, you're guilty, you're bad, you know, in every imaginable fucking way and layer and aspect and nuance. This guilt spike, you have been spiked with guilt, is used against you. You are held to ransom. The vast majority of souled people are not aware of this. I never used to be aware of it either, and I wasn't, and I'm now very aware of it, more than I was before, because again, it's all these foggy layers of mind control that sort of inhibit your ability to see it and understand it with clarity. You may know it theoretically, yeah, a lot of people know a lot of shit theoretically, but that ain't it. You need to know it, and the only way to know it is, how does this feel? What am I feeling? Why am I doing this? Why do I feel this way? People, for example, say you're really unwell, you're really, really not well, and you need somebody like your best friend or your partner, or your son or your daughter or your best friend or whatever, to help you and to do things for you. And you have that sense of guilt. And it's like, well, I better do all these things myself, even though you can't and you're in pain and you're really not able to, and you shouldn't. You really shouldn't, because you need a rest. But you have that guilt, relentless, right? So then you end up doing all these things yourself, and then you're there doing them, feeling really, really angry, and all this rage is coming up, passive aggression, because it's like that guilt. And then what happens is you take it out on your best friend or your husband or your wife or your son or your daughter or whatever, the person helping you that you feel safe with, so that you can take it out on them. You wouldn't take it out on somebody like in authority because you're like, oh, better not, you know, because blah blah. But you always take it out on the people that you love best and that you feel safe with. They bear the brunt of it every time. That's another aspect of this nasty evil shit. Or you get up in the morning, as you do, because you're so worthless and dirty and rotten to the core that you have to work for a living because you don't actually deserve food, clothing, shelter, prosperity, abundance, safety, freedom, well-being, true friends, belonging, happiness, joy, fulfillment, creativity and beauty. No, you don't deserve any of that. Because you're dirty and sinful and rotten to the core. Guilt, guilty. And you feel that without knowing you feel it. And it's a heavy, dank, oppressive feeling. And increasingly now for some of us, we are feeling it and really feeling it. No more kind of like, oh, theoretically, mentally, I know what, guilt, it's this and it's that. No. This is where you know it. You know what it is. Because you feel it energetically, emotionally, psychically, you know it. So you're there in the morning, right? And you have to go to work even though mentally you're in a fucking terrible state of distress. Physically you're in a terrible state of unwellness. And you're so strung out and you're so anxious that you're like that, but you have to go to work because if you don't, you're gonna fucking starve. You're gonna be homeless. You have to go to work. You worthless motherfucking slave. And you have that feeling as if there is a force behind you of like, I don't know, a horde of fucking demons with whips. Hurry! Schneller! Right? Schneller! It's like being herded out of Bergen-Belsen or Dachau because the Russians are coming and the Germans are behind you with their guns because you're on the death marches out of the camps because, you know, that's what apparently happened at the end of World War II. Now, I'm not saying anything about that, by the way, because history, as we all know, is very unreliable to say the least, but I'm just using it as an example because that actually is what it feels like. You're there and you're completely broken and you're disease ridden because you're so guilty. You deserve to be disease ridden, and we give you all these diseases. We invent cancer and viruses and weird shit and we put it into the population and into the water and into the air and fuck knows whatever, and we do this to you. We love so much to do evil shit to you, you worthless guilty slaves. And there you are on the death march, brushing your teeth. Schneller! Right? Taking your shower, all the while plagued now with obstructionism. Every pair of trousers you take out of the drawer is inside out. Why is that? Every pair of knickers is inside out. You try and do this and something goes wrong. You try and go over there and make your coffee and something goes wrong. Everything is made more and more fucking difficult because you're guilty and you deserve to fucking suffer. And you're brushing your teeth and you feel like shit, and then you have to do this and then you have to do that, and then you have to take the bus and it takes forever and the bus doesn't arrive and the bus fee has gone up again. In fact, it's tripled over the last 6 months. You know, you're there surrounded by fuck knows what they are, people with strange pupils, black eyes, or just normies who haven't got a fucking clue and think it's all wonderful or whatever, and toxic narcissistic scumbags who make your life a living fucking misery at work. You're held to ransom. I mean, I see people, they look harried. Oh, mortgage rates, boom. I mean, interest rates, boom. You know, so all of a sudden your mortgage now was £400 a month, and now it's £1,200 a month, 1,200. There you go. Better work harder. My friend, who's a gardener, wasn't able to do a few jobs last week. And he feels that feeling of schneller, schneller. Because, oh my God, how am I going to catch up? And he sort of mentioned it to his mother. Her reply, being a total fucking NPC, oh, you'll have to work more hours then. Yes, thanks. That was really helpful. Thank you. The day will validate the horrific hell oppression in every imaginable way. Because they believe, oh, it's our own fault, it's your fault, you know, you're behind with work, it's because you're lazy, You're not productive enough, you're not doing everything you can to somehow try and redeem yourself from the terrible sin that you are. You are the sin, you are the living embodiment of everything that's bad and dirty and disgusting. Right? I mean, the rat race, they call it the rat race. Take your meds and keep going. People will do anything, they will do anything. They have the transubstantiations. Everything has to be quick, now, which is why people choose to take pharma meds instead of natural meds. I'm not saying that we should have to take any meds, because we shouldn't actually be sick. The reason that we are disease-ridden, whatever goes for fucking health in this evil concentration camp, is bullshit. This is absolute nonsense. Growing old is a disease. Everybody's fucking sick. People are fucking sick. I see it everywhere. It's worse than ever before. People are literally like question marks shoveling down the road. Dying, decaying, disease-ridden, filled with, I am guilty. Right? Oh, that's horrifying. It's the death march. Ergo, the rage, which starts to come up when you begin to really awaken, that will come up because there is another side to this story. The rage, you feel it because you know it's wrong. You wouldn't feel it otherwise, believe me. If it was right and proper, and you were truly guilty and dirty and bad, and you deserve to be punished relentlessly in every imaginable way. I did say evil can't create, but in a way it's quite creative with all the evil tortures that it languishes upon us, absolutely. But then again, I think that is our own creativity working against us, of course, because it uses our consciousness, our life force to, right? Our guilt. It's incredible, it really is. So there you are, on your death march, which is called life, reality. Life, the death march, Right? Schneller. Schwein und Jella. Sorry, I don't mean to have a go at the Germans. I love the German people. And I have a lot of good feelings about Germany and whatnot. So if I talk about sort of this stuff, a lot of German people, if you are listening to my channel, you might feel a bit guilty. This was done to the Germans. A lot of this was done to the Germans. The Germans were made to feel very, very, very bad and guilty after World War II. I came across a lot of German people, and a lot of shit happened in Germany. A lot of nasty, horrible, systematic, evil shit was perpetrated upon the German people. Not to mention the you know, East and West and all of that. Really nasty shit, really nasty psychological torturing was done to the German people, and they accepted it, and they became very much like a subjugated people because of all the fucking guilt. And to this day, I feel that the whole World War II story is not at all what it appears to be, but that's another story. But again, there we have it, guilt. Whereas my experience of a lot of Germanness is very good and very robust. It's very good DNA, it's very good consciousness. You know, I'm not saying all German people are this, that or the other, of course, because most people are NPCs, they're not real. We have demons, we have all kinds of weird shit, and we have these beings that pretend to be human but are nothing of the fucking kind at all. Okay, but I've met some lovely German people. So there we are. I have a lot of German DNA myself, so I can't very well, do you know what I mean? Like, again, blah. But, oh, the guilt. The guilt. It is a spike. It is what spikes that drink, that is this experience, that is... And how... This is the question. Once you realize this intrinsically with your spirit eyes, with your lucid particle, you feel it. I reckon that's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. I was there this morning doing my, my usual routine with these little interdental brushes, and I've high oral hygiene. I have to. My teeth are not great, and this, that, and the other, and there's stuff going on for me physically that, is bad and all kinds. And I felt that, and I've been feeling that for weeks, this oppression. The obstructionism starts the minute I get out of bed, boom, right? And that makes me feel it. It's this, and everything. Oh, you have to do this, and then you have to have the shower, and then you have to have your, you have to go to the toilet, you have to empty your bowels, and shame, look how dirty you are, look what comes out of your body, you dirty, disgusting piece of worthless... There you go again. We're made to... I mean, animals, as far as I'm aware, like, they don't feel that way about having an asshole and having to shit and having to piss. But humans feel nothing but shame, and this is another type of shame. There's different types of shame. There is sexual shame, there is shame of your body. Like, look at me, I have an asshole, I shit. Look at me, I have, I don't know, whatever. It is relentless. We are made to feel dirty, right? And of course, we're not really meant to function this way anyway, to have to eat perpetually, eat food, digest food, piss it out, shit it out, you're so dirty, you stink, you have to wash yourself, all your health issues, disease. But you have to keep going to work, and you have to be all things to all people, you have to please people, you have to make them happy, you have to keep them all happy, because otherwise you're not going to fucking survive. Do whatever you're told, because you're guilty and you're sinful, so you have to redeem yourself. So whatever the system tells you to do, whatever it demands of you, you give it. Whatever God wants you to do, sacrifice your only begotten son to me on a pile of wood, yay. And then at the last moment, oh, okay, I didn't really mean it. Ha ha ha. Right? Do it. Am I redeemed yet? No, not quite yet. Bit more suffering, bit more harassment, bit more schneller. And I'm there this morning going through all that and feeling it, literally feeling it, and I'm shaking. And the rage, the fury. Because of course it's fucking evil. I know it is now, without any doubt whatsoever, and I see the mechanism. I see what fixes the spell, and I know that is good. I see it, I know it, I feel it intrinsically. I do. I came across it's a bit of synchronicity, and it's the most elegant key: self-forgiveness. Because we've got to take the helm in this, guys. We can't just let it. You see, you can let it ride you. It has done your whole life. You can let it do that to you and just be go limp, paralyzed, and just let it fuck you up the arse, literally, right? In all the ways that it does that. In here, out there, all of it. And rage against the machine, but it's not going to fucking help you. That is what it fucking wants. It wants you in that state, right? Another thing it likes to do, I've noticed, by the way, is it takes ideas and creative stuff that you have, that you don't have quite the wherewithal to bring into being because you're that fucking disease-ridden. It then takes that, and some NPC comes out with it, and it's like, look at it, it loves mocking us, saying, see, it does that all the time as well. And again, rage against it, it's not going to help you. It isn't. will help you to take back your power, and this is what it's all about. And that last video I did where I talk about the black hand and all the intrusive thought is very much a part of that, of course. It's all connected, right? I am very big on self-empowerment and self-liberation. I am all about that. I do not believe that we're powerless victims here, regardless of everything. I can't go there, because if I choose that, then I will be a powerless victim. So no, I shan't, I won't. And I came across that, and it's at the most elegant key, self-forgiveness. So I sat with that, and I felt that out. I allowed that to permeate and simmer and bubble, and it felt, yes, yeah. Because when you are open to, you have to be extremely self-aware. So you have to step back from yourself. What am I thinking? Everything that's going on in your mind, in your emotions, everything you have to witness, and ask, what is this? What is that? What do I feel? What's that about? And watch this evil manipulation that's going on in your psyche, and watch how that works and what that's about, and get to know what's going on. Really pay attention. It will remind you of things you've done in the past, right? And it will use it as, I see how bad you are, see how dirty and sinful and guilty, right? Relentless over and over again until you yourself say, enough. No more. We have power, guys. We are not powerless, limp, weak, little, dirty, sinful victims. We're not, you know. We can take this proverbial Minotaur in the maze by the horns and put a stop to it. And it won't stop straight away. This is a journey of discovery, a journey of learning the ropes of liberating yourself, self-liberation. You need to keep reminding yourself that you are not, in fact, a sinful, dirty victim. You need to keep reminding yourself, you make a list, write shit down, it's very important, about all the things that are good about you, right? Your compassion, how loving you are, how caring you are. Not the codependency, by the way, because that is literally just, I need to redeem myself, so I need to be a doormat and give, because that ain't gonna work. And no, but how much do you love yourself? Self-care, and just write down and become aware of how beautiful you are, and how precious you are, and how valuable you are, and how kind and sensitive and gentle you are. How, despite everything, you've not given up and you kept doing the work. You're good, you're pure, you're true, you are a being of light. Go into that, work that out, write it down, express that. Come back to yourself with that. Remind yourself that yes, you did this, you did that over there, you did that over there. You were severely fucking traumatized, manipulated, kicked the shit out of. All this began in the womb. Because I've had that as well. Let me get to that in a short bit, actually, because that's important. This was done to you. You were driven. So no, you're not guilty. You make amends, you go within, you feel through these acts of violence, perhaps, or verbal abuse, or whatever it is that you did, that it keeps reminding you of, to spike you. You work through that, and you keep forgiving yourself, because you know it's time to let it go and to forgive yourself. It's that feeling, that inundation of guilt, of yeah, right? Ugh. No, you don't have to allow that, you see. You can work through that and harmonize yourself there. You can do it. You know that it's time to forgive yourself. You have made amends in many ways since then. Believe me, you have suffered more than enough to have made amends 1,000,000 times over, and it's time to let it go. Learn from it. Why did it happen? And learn that, it hurts to hurt others. It really does. People are all in such a terrible state of, and when they're not aware, like I said earlier, all this shit happens, they're in this torture state, and they take it out on each other. My neighbours all around here, everywhere I watch now, there's a shitload of antagonistic arguments, violence, entanglement. People are, the world's becoming more and more violent because it's all coming up, of course, it's all coming up, and people are taking out on each other, husbands to wives, wives to husbands, parents to children, people to animals, all of it, it's all happening, and that is what it loves, you see? Chaos, destruction, because evil has always thrived in concealment, you know. In the days that Vivian Maier was walking the streets of America, taking all these pictures showing us that evil was very much in situ there, but people were very much not in awareness of it. And in the 80s it was like that, and the 90s it began to be a little darker, and then the 2000s, and now evil is, it's exposed completely. It's no longer concealed at all. So it's like last ditch effort now, you see, because it cannot thrive in the light of exposure. And again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I don't think evil's winning. I know it feels that way, I know it seems that way, but that is very much not. That is the moon in the tarot, where things are not as they appear to be. Remember that. If you give in to despair, you're fucked. And that is self-attack. That is self-attack, and it wants that very much. That is what it loves. Because in there, a part of you, as you're doing your soul retrieval work, you will come across this bitter, cynical, passive-aggressive rage. It's not going to be alright, but evil always wins, and there's nothing I can do, and it's bitter, and it's twisted, and it's where you attack yourself. You turn against yourself. You do that. And that is what it wants. And you will go straight down the fucking toilet with that every fucking time. That is not how to work through this. That is not how to navigate this evil shit. No, no. You need to get to a place of self-forgiveness. It's very lucid. It's a place where you understand this thing is holding you to ransom, so that it can abuse you and fuck you in every imaginable fucking way, right? You watch all the other people who's like, oh, we'll do whatever, yeah, Mr. Government, tell us what to do and we will do it. We'll bend over so you can fuck us up the arse, right? It's bad, and it's very big, it's a very big thing, and it's guilt because you're sinful. It's like the notion that you're born in sin, and I had this image of where I was in my mother's room, and it was like my mother was this black, like I said, my mother was a narcissist, and she was really, 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 really fucked up. And she was filled with this black oil and in rage and passive-aggressive rage and insanity and guilt and shame and sin. So yes, I was born in sin. I gestated in the room in sin. I was marinated in it. And I came forth out of that. But in that vision, the room was a very big, like a cave-like, egg-shaped place. And I was in there, and my mother was in that blackened, distorted, concentration camp victim type state, agony, guilt. But there was light all around me, and there was that splash of black oil in there with me. It's an interesting vision. I've had a few very interesting visions and revelations and understandings leading me to this moment. Because we do, you know, this is a black river of evil, and evil is a disease. Evil is a disease, demonic energy. It takes that which is and rots it and decays it. It is corruption. That is really what it is. It's corruption, and it's a disease. And the only way that it could fix us in this is through guilt. And that guilt needs to exist on a subconscious level. We cannot be consciously aware of what is going on, because that is the path to liberation, self-forgiveness, understanding that this is all a fucking lie. I am not guilty. I was in my mother's room and all that shit was going on, and I was born into this insanity, and yeah, I ended up doing bad shit. Sure. All of that. I was set up. It's all a setup. It's gaslighting. You see? to fix me into this. And now I see the truth. So I'm going to start liberating myself through self-forgiveness. I'm going to keep working through that, Okay, very important. Because it's a lie. It doesn't feel like a lie. It feels like the ultimate truth, because it has been your truth your whole life so far. And you've allowed all kinds of horrifying, nasty shit to happen to you. You've allowed these NPCs to rape you and pillage you and abuse you in every imaginable way. The system to rape you and pillage you and abuse you in every imaginable way. Of course. Because you're guilty. You have to. You have to. You have to. Schneller! Alright? You have to be productive. You have to give and give and give and give until you collapse and die. Right? But you have to let it suck you dry because you're guilty. And it's all a lie. It's all predicated on a complete and utter lie. So we have to walk the path, choose the path now of remembrance. Remembrance of who we are, really. Our innate goodness. Our innate ability for love and empathy and compassion. To love ourselves. Don't turn against yourself. It's the hardest thing ever. Because that's what you're used to doing. You're used to doing that. You're bitter and you're twisted inside. You only expect the worst. Oh, you have to expect the worst. Better to expect the worst. Yeah, that's what you have to do. You can't expect positive, miraculous developments, because it's not going to happen. There are no miracles. This is all there is. You're never going to get out of it. There are no miracles, and if you somehow stupidly believe in miracles and positive developments, you're only going to get disappointed, and that's going to hurt even more. So just don't fucking bother and just kick the shit out of yourself. It's not going to be alright. The fuck is wrong with you? You fucking thinking like that for, you fucking piece of shit. Right? The way people speak to themselves in here, the way it's made us our own worst enemy in so many ways is horrifying. It's horrifying. So you got to get to grips with that. You will do that on every layer, every level. Oh yeah. I'm not saying to be, like this. Oh, everything's gonna be great. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying baby steps, tiny, inch by inch. You have to work this spell out of your consciousness. Expunge the black poison out of your consciousness. Disintegrate the spike. Disintegrate it bit by bit with self-love, with self-forgiveness, with total commitment to you. Alright? It's the only way. Bit by bit. You will never get your way through this. I have up to this point. And it's very, very challenging. Oh boy. Yeah, it is. It's a major understatement, obviously, but self-love, 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 self-forgiveness, self-forgiveness. The truth shall set us free. So we need to embrace truth and allow ourselves to be embraced by it. It is the only way, guys. We cannot blindly, stupidly, limbly go along with this anymore. Right? We have to, in a way, throw down the gauntlet. And it's hard because it's ongoing. Like this morning and every morning, in fact, I'm there, and all the obstructionism, the blocking is just out of this world, and it brings up my rage, and I just, but where do I direct it at? Where is the enemy so I can kick the shit out of him, her, it? Right? And then, somebody says something or does something and it gets your hackles up because the way that we treat each other, speak to each other, behave, entangle with each other is completely and utterly influenced and twisted in every imaginable way by everything that's going on. So it's fucking difficult, so that gets your hackles up. So then you turn on that. It's like, what the fuck, right? It's very difficult. So you've got to feel that hate and that rage and realise that it wants you to give in to it and act it out, so you let it go, you work through it. And there's times where you can't do that. And you lose it, you lose your rag. And there it is again, the guilt. See. You're so sinful. But it's all under duress. It's not your fault. So you forgive yourself, right? You make amends, you apologise, you say, I'm really sorry, it's very different. And there's always, with the right people, there's always the understanding. You can make amends, it can work itself out. And if they don't understand, and they don't want to forgive you, then that's their bag. Goodbye. Don't keep people like that in your life, it's no good. Well, there it is, guys. It's a fucking lie. The whole thing, this whole experience is a lie. Self-forgiveness, self-love. You don't need to go forth with great big blaring trumpets into positivity, yeah? But this is not the new age. We look at it with open eyes and see the truth, and very, very gently return to a state of grace within us, knowing that it's a lie. Not just on the intellectual level, but intrinsically, in your heart, in your gut, in your whole being, you know it's all a fucking lie. You're not guilty. You don't deserve to be punished or suffer. Yes, you got it wrong many, many times. You're probably going to get it wrong again, but that's not your fault. You always do the best that you can. You are good, you are pure, you are true, you are valuable, you are precious, you are very important, you matter, you have a purpose, a destiny, you are here for a reason, it's going to be alright, you deserve to be free, to be safe, you deserve true well-being, you deserve to be back in your miracle consciousness. And the only reason I call it a miracle, because it's the polar opposite of this evil, disgusting garbage. It is effortless flow, as opposed to the obstructions and the anti-force, right? It's knowing that you are a being of light. You are infinite, unconditional love and harmonious creativity. That is the truth. And that doesn't feel true. I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't. But it's what is, nevertheless. And every now and then you can really feel that within you. You can feel it when you get these intuitions telling you, it guides you, the maverick effect, the intuitions, the synchronicity, it guides you, and it plans out. Despite the horrifying evil darkness, there is light too, and it has guided you. Like for me, many times bad things have threatened to happen, bad shit, but there's been a safety net. It has worked out, often in miraculous ways. And I know that is not good enough. We want far more than that, of course we do. But you need to choose to see the light. You need to choose to see it. You need to choose to, yes, acknowledge it and see it. Because if you don't, that bitter, twisted, cynical part of you is like, no, I don't want to see the light. I don't want to see the light because there's only evil here and it's all shit and I'm going to attack myself and turn against myself and that's where I'm going to be. That is what it wants, right? That's where it wants you. And it's very, very tough to step away from that. Very tough. But it's doable and it has to be done. It's the only way. We fight with love. This is not a war that you can win with the passive aggressive element. The only way to win this is love, and the only way to win this is diligently, little by little, right? Work through it. Alchemize. That's the only way. Yeah. So I want to do this video and talk about this because I think it's particularly relevant now. It's really coming up. The spike that fixes the spell, and that spike disintegrating, right? And once that guilt shit is done and finished and over with, and we realise that, hey, I'm not guilty, I don't deserve any of this. It's a way back to your miracle consciousness, your true consciousness, infinite, unconditional love and harmonious creativity. And it may feel like that's never going to happen, that we're never ever going to get out of here. And Evil always feels really, really strong and overwhelming because it's a bully. The light feels different. It doesn't feel overwhelming. It's subtle, but it's very, very real and illuminating. And it's very hard when you really, really, really feel dreadful to keep bringing yourself back there. I know this from experience, and there's times where you can't do it, but you still make it through the darkness, you know? But the light is here, the light is within you, you are of the light. The love and the light of the Great Mother is within you and all around you. Bless you all.